Hello and welcome to the back nine of round one of the 2024 Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship presented by Innova Disc Golf. This is an A tier. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker. We're your two hotkeys.
Honk. We are watching a feature card at Winthrop. It's an interesting format. The rules are different. I don't have words actually to describe this tournament. It's different.
Yeah, it is different. It feels prestigious, but doesn't
words are hard.
Affect anything from the rest of the season.
It's just for pride.
It's just for pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Currently, look at Haley King, tied with Amanda Lennartson, 4 down through 9. Haley just got an eagle to get to that 4 down number. But this course, your score never really matters that much because you can take a sudden quad on any hole.
Which we saw Holyn Handley do, unfortunately.
Yep, there's stroke and distance on many of these holes. Thankfully, not on this one, though.
Yeah, hole 10 is a par 3. They used to, remember? They changed it. It's a par 3, 331 feet. You got to clear, 290 feet of that or so?
More, yeah.
Or more. It feels like more. It takes a full power shot, it feels like, to get in bounds.
There's no way this is only 330, too. Like, it just doesn't... Maybe it's uphill.
It's a little bit uphill. It's a little bit uphill for sure.
It was also a screaming headwind. Let's watch Kristen throw a really beautiful flipping hyzer shot.
It's also a particular shape, like the OB kind of bubbles on the left, so you can throw to where it would be inbounds if you were more on the right and end up being out. So ending up on the right is better. Kristen cashing in that birdie. Looks like she's 3 down now. Evelina Salonen already 3 down. Wow. Really straight shot with a stable disc here.
And that is a lot harder than it looks from Evelina. You see a lot of FPO players throwing as hard as they can to this green.
Full flex. That looked like a slower speed disc even.
Really nice putt with, looks like a pretty strong left to right crosswind there.
Yeah, her putt is looking very commanding, very powerful. Rebecca up first. Working that right side, which, as I said, is the better side.
No.
Come on. And Rebecca rips, too.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's short says a lot, I think.
Yeah, when my card walked up to this hole today and felt the wind, it was just like a series of oh no's and oh God. And oh man.
Yeah. Oh boy.
What are we doing?
And I mean, you can lay up. What a great shot from Anniken. But the layup is pretty... It doesn't always work for par. It's a really difficult second shot, and then you got to go to the drop zone anyway if you mess it up.
I feel like the layup is almost as sketchy as the drive.
Yeah.
And own with the flippy disc.
Wow.
Huh.
And
I've never seen her throw a shot like that.
Yeah, me neither. And that's that lightweight red one.
That was
Destroyer.
nice.
That was cool. Huh.
Holyn probably going to do a pure hyzer out to the right here over the top of the bush, which is kind of hard to do. Oh, the wind playing with her disc.
Yeah, it looked like a perfect shot, but I think she's out. Bush too straight.
Man, that was a good shot.
We're going to see Rebecca up first from the drop zone.
It drops off behind the basket.
Significantly.
Little soft bid.
Yeah, if you run this thing with a pure spin putt, you are in trouble coming back at it. Holyn!
Yes. Spot on lie.
What a putt. This is such a good feeling par save. I really like this drop zone compared to the old one.
Just crawling over the cage.
Yeah, give it to her. She earned it.
There were only 5 birdies on this hole, and making the putt from the drop zone feels like a birdie.
Own for an actual birdie. Leaves it low.
A lot of these baskets are really hard to run at when you putt the way that Own does, really linear and flat, because if you miss the basket at all, you are going way past.
Anniken for a tap-in. And a really good recovery. She got that one bogey, but now she has back-to-back birdies. She's under par for the first time this round.
Listen to this, half the field with a bogey
Oof.
on this hole.
Ouch. the throw pink hole.
But look how cute the basket is.
It's so cute. Man, I hope conditions get a little bit nicer. This can be a fun course in calmer conditions.
Bigger. Sexier. Berrier. So many berries.
And here we are at hole 11. The Swiss cheese hole, as some call it, not affectionately, because no one likes this hole.
Or Swiss cheese.
Or Swiss cheese. Hot take. All of these little bubbles that you see everywhere, designated by the rocks and the rope, are hazard. So you can land in there and you just play it as it lies with a stroke. We'll watch Kristen play it here. Most FPO players doing this play right here. A simple hyzer down to the bottom of the hill. Don't want to go too far left though. Bring some low-hanging branches into play. Kristen, one of the few to go forehand here on the second shot. Most players are going backhand.
This is a big shot to clear both patches.
It sure is.
Both Swiss cheese holes? What do you call them?
Yeah. Cheese holes.
Yeah, cheese holes. Yeah, okay. Also, is the rocks and the rope like a indie folk band of some kind?
Yeah.
I've definitely heard a song or two by them.
They have like 3 tambourines.
Anniken up first here. And this one actually shapes up pretty nice for the left-handed player. Doesn't really bring in that little, what'd you call it earlier, blob of OB. The cheese hole, in the central cheese hole, if you will. I'm really uncomfortable saying that. I'm going to stop.
It's funny. I don't feel uncomfortable at all.
Do you ever?
No. Owen with a great shot to dead center in the landing zone.
Holyn, probably one of the few who has to think about the deep OB.
Yeah.
You know, most of us can throw it as hard as we can and not really worry about pushing deep. Holyn, probably, let's see, disking down. Let's check in on that. Z-Swirl Nebula.
I don't know what that is.
I'm going to guess slower.
Looked slower. The wind was a pretty ripping headwind here. You're definitely worried about your disc getting played. I saw a ton of big wind bounces on both the drive and the second shot on this one.
Everyone landing inbounds on this one. Ooh, Anniken going for it. Or the wind just taking it. Can't really tell.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going for it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Really riding that tree line on the left side. The right side's a lot more open for right-handed players, but there is hazard up at the top of the hill. So you don't want your disc to flip like we see Holyn's doing.
Yeah, turning too much. But there's, dang, I was going to say there's some room up there.
I found the same hazard area, and it's so tricky because you're putting from a flat area, and then it drops off right where the basket is. It's such a weird putt from up there.
It's not a typical putt. Usually you're just on the same hill.
Yep.
The hill doesn't just end. Owen barely squeaks in. Rebecca.
Oh, look at this wind.
Yeah, it's happening. Looks like she's going with the same sergeant she threw off the tee. Come on, get some legs.
This was the spot that I was talking about in the front 9 where I heard like a weird cracking sound and turned around and it looked like the flag stick was going to blow off the top of the basket, like break in half.
Yeah, definitely windier here than we've seen in other parts of the course at this moment.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Wow, we did the same thing, me and Holyn.
She kind of just smiles at that one. What are you going to do?
Yeah. I played the hole exactly like this. Look at that flag. Wow.
Wow, that's a good run.
Owen's putter looking like it's unaffected by wind.
Owen wasn't in the hazard. When it's hazard, you are allowed to have your feet in it rather than take the meter like out of bounds. If you're confused by that,
read the rule book.
Yeah, trying to jab it in there.
Holyn coming back for a bogey.
Nice
Nice.
putt. Did you do that?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Nope. I hit in the middle and bounced back.
No.
Well, I guess blue back. Nice
Yes,
putt from
Rebecca. I love how much pace she just put on that.
Yeah, I heard the flag making a crazy noise, and I turned around, and there's someone lining up a headwind putt. Just like, you can see the knees knocking. Like, what do I do? Oh. Owen with a lot of chains. There were only 6 birdies on hole 11 today. We will see more than that in the days to come.
And it's going to be Owen's first bogey of the round. Still, 3 of our feature card ladies under par and impressive feat with these conditions. Holyn, just a couple blemishes, but there's time, but there's also wind. A 3-way tie at the top still. Hole 12. Oh boy. Par 5, 901 feet. First shot's not so bad. There's an OB blob that power players might find. You usually see short or left of that. Second shot, if you can get kind of up on the left of this hill or up to this flat spot, you're sitting pretty. Anytime you can see the flag stick, you're thinking of getting aggressive, but you can see this little bubble of inbounds area. If you land anywhere out of bounds, doesn't matter if you crossed, you just have to rethrow or go from the drop zone, which is usually farther back. So you can end up seeing huge numbers on this hole. It's a very risky one to attack.
Evelina.
This is massive.
Evelina throwing right at that OB blob and letting it hyzer out. It was a absolutely screaming headwind when my card came through.
I think it is for her too, because she's way short for how much power she just put on that.
Yeah.
Like, I thought she was going to be 100 feet farther up.
You could still feel the wind even down at the bottom of the hill where Evelina just threw from. Now she's chipping across.
So easy to leave that one short. Evelina with a perfect amount of speed. Wow. She's doing it.
Yeah, she's looking like she's our current world champion.
Yeah. 5 down.
Rebecca up first, working the hyzer flip. I think that's a great play here.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, very fun. More of a controlled shot with a Fusion Sergeant. Not trying to get too crazy.
Anniken working something way out to the left.
Yeah, she's going a nice overstable, swirly S-Blend Emperor. Really? Huh. Pretty far over there on that side hill. I'm not really familiar with that area. Should be fine.
Ooh, Owens disc carrying pretty far to the right. You have to go far to find the OB. She is safe right there.
Holyn also something very stable. ESP force fading over onto that side hill.
And Holland's distance just looking effortless. She
Yeah, but-
doesn't even look like she threw it that hard.
It's true, but look at how much shorter of the OB blob than
Normally
everyone
would
is.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
normally they're even with it. But yeah, that was a very smooth shot. Anniken kind of flirting with the OB line there, and it's going to be decision time from there.
I think with the way she threw that shot, she may just be playing this one for par, which is smart out here.
On this one, it's kind of more important to get up the hill than to get really far. On doing a good job. I think she'll be able to see the flag stick.
Holyn really throwing this one kind of nose up, but doing what Erika said, getting up left and high up the hill more than pushing deep.
Yeah, the more you can see of the out of bounds area, the I think bigger advantage you have. It's just so easy to short the shot. In the rocks and the rope. Rebecca getting up the hill nicely. This is very risky if Anniken's going for it.
And she's not. We love this play. Very smart golf here.
Very. And a nice smooth shot.
Holyn lining it up to go across to the green. That's
And it's coming in short.
It sure is.
And so she just has to rethrow now. And she's already experienced this once this round. This is a terrible feeling. You just have to go immediately. This one I learned you should just throw it really, really hard. Like, there's not that much room behind it, but there's more than you think.
Yeah, but then you can go OB-deep. Look
You
how
can.
close she is
You
to
can.
OB-deep.
Yeah.
And it's not a hard shot. It's not one you would even think about getting inside the circle if there was an OB everywhere.
It's just because it's blind, too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Oh, she hit the basket.
Yeah, she did. It didn't really help her, though. Kind of kicked her outside the circle. But a good recovery. Oh, and also going to go for it on her third. There's more room than it looks on this right side. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Like, that looks like a bad shot, and then it's good.
Yeah.
That's how... Every time I think it's a good shot, it's short, and every time I think it's too deep to the right, it's perfect. Like, that looks good.
That's some great caddy advice.
Like, yeah. And it looked too deep into the right as well. It's crazy.
This was the third most difficult hole of the day. A quarter of the field birdieing, 14 birdies.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's distance-wise not that hard to get. It's just you don't want to end up throwing, you know, an extra couple of shots from the same spot.
Holyn almost saving the bogey with that putt, but going to have to settle for double.
What a great putt from Rebecca to get the birdie. I'm wondering what the biggest number of the day was.
Oh, our current leader, Amanda Lennartson. Looks like she got an 11 on this one.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I heard there was, what was it, a 16 in MPO?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's it. Like that's just kind of normal at this event.
Mm-hmm.
You hear about it and you're like, oh yeah, oof, I've been there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like oof, I can see how that could happen.
Yeah. Owen and Anniken taking their pars. Holyn taking the double. Again, just demonstrating how quickly they can stack up.
With shots that aren't
That off.
bad.
Yeah, just off by a little. Just to be doubly or quadruply, totally a word, punished.
Doubly, as we like to say.
Doubly.
Here's hole 13, 657, big downhill shot. First hole in a while that's not a headwind, so that's
Yay.
nice. Left to right crosswind, and sometimes with some really big gusts. That cart path and beyond are out of bounds. This little pinch point right here is very tricky depending on how far you get your drive. The basket is tucked away in this guarded green with lots of little rumples on the ground that can make putting real weird.
Rumples.
And on the approach, if you flare skip off the sidewalk, you go into the shul on the left-hand side, and it's really difficult to recover from there on occasion.
Evelina with a huge shot. And the nice thing, even if she was on the sidewalk, it's weirdly inbounds. The right side is out of bounds.
Oh, I thought it was sidewalk and beyond always.
Yeah, no, not on just this hole in all of the world. Evelina for another birdie.
Come on. That's a hard putt right there, too. Those trees are directly in the way.
Wow. She's on fire today. What wind. Is this one in this position every day instead of the short right? Do you know? I'm not sure. We'll find out together. Rebecca, nice kind of tall, Spiky hyzer, that's a great spot. That's a more typical landing zone. Evelina's shot was really huge. Anniken showing us her sidearm here. Most likely, I don't know, she might be able to get it there with a distance flexing shot. And a note from the editor, we are playing this pin position all 4 days.
I think that's a nice change because I think this is a better hole than the other one. It just...
I liked the other one, but it was very close to out of bounds. You saw some problems, for sure.
This is just such a good hole. Why change it, you know? Mm-hmm. And here's the problem that you find yourself in very often if you're feeling not so committed on the tee. You land in the shul on the left side, and it is so tough to recover from.
Surprisingly tough.
It's going to bring that pinch point into play that I talked about in the flyover.
Yeah, Anniken kind of just playing this one for par. That's actually very close to the other pin position that no longer exists. Own setup pretty well to attack it. It's a pretty tight flex shot, but a little too much turn.
There's room over there.
There is some. That's what I was going to say. There is some room over there. Own using all of it. Do you think that they cleared this one out?
Is it cleared out?
Yeah. It used to be a nightmare behind it in particular.
Okay.
Like 20 feet behind it, if you blew past the basket, it was awful.
Yeah, I think they did clear it out with some potentially tropical storm force winds.
Yeah.
As you do.
A big they. Mm-hmm. Holyn able to stretch out and cover a lot of ground with a sidearm there. It was well done.
Tricky little approach here.
Pretty.
No, the one.
She's still inside the circle looking at a par.
So every hole on the back nine averaged over par.
Fun.
That's so crazy.
Anniken chipping up a forehand. A little bit of work left coming back. Here's Own for a long birdie look. She's kind of due for one of these. She's been coming up a little low all day, and she knows it.
Rebecca from that left side rough. There's not, even if she had an open spot to swing her arm, there's not a putt from there. Those two trees are perfectly placed.
They're not my friends.
They're nobody's friends.
Holyn working hard out there. That was a great par save. Hopefully she gets a little bit more rewarded. She's throwing largely good shots. Solid putt from Anniken. And considering everything's playing over par today, we'll take a par frame any day. Yeah. Oh my gosh, did you see that? Rebecca just shoved it through the tree. She didn't even putt it.
There were only 7 birdies on 13. We will definitely see more than that in the coming days. That hole did just play hard. The tee shot was very windy, and you saw how blustery it got on the second shot as well.
Hole 14, a shorter hole, par 3, 261 feet. A lot of ladies taking this gap on the right with a backhand mid-range, maybe fairway driver. There's also a right-hand forehand gap if you go straight, or left-hand backhand gap. That one's a bit riskier. You can see the OB is tighter on the left side of the green than the right. Very elevated pin. If you do not get close on this one, it is an incredibly risky putt. You can find the hazard in one hot second.
Yeah, the basket's super elevated, and the wind was screaming across the screen. It was one of the places where the wind was sustained all day. You can see that flag whipping left to right crosswind for a majority of the day. It didn't really swirl much here either. You can see Anniken using that wind to her advantage. And oh man,
still in the hazard. Pretty mean skip. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that left side gap. I just always find the hazard.
I did it today.
Did it work? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Out of 2.
Sick.
Own with a really nice backhand. It's so hard to carry all the way to the circle in the air like she just did because
Yeah.
of how low ceiling it is.
Yeah, you usually see it with the skip. Good point. Holyn,
Oh.
yeah. Finding the tree. And a lot of work left to do.
Pretty awkward angle where she is. She's, again, going to use the wind to her advantage.
Again, she's working hard out here.
Yeah, and that's a great place to land a nice uphill putt instead of a downhill putt, but it is so tall. It's kind of awkward.
Rebecca just going to lay that one up. Maybe on a non-windy day you run that one.
Even then, that is a scary putt. Anniken from the hazard.
And this can be dangerous if she catches cage.
Oh,
Kind of look like a half run.
I think that was a layup.
Oh, Holyn.
They are just stacking up here on the back.
As they do.
Mm-hmm.
Own for birdie. Going into the headwind, having to putt nose up, it lifts into the band. Let's all just take a moment to remember that disc golf can be fun. It's a tough one out there today.
And this played as one of the easiest holes, the
Yeah.
third easiest hole of the day. There were 10 birdies out of 51 competitors. And here's the part of the course where all of the elementary school students that were in the educational disc golf village here for a clinic were cheering, and it was
So cute.
the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was 80 of them, 100 of them.
They were there last year too, most days.
Mm-hmm.
So fun. Evelina holding strong at that 6 down. Rebecca Cox solo second right now with 4 down.
Oh, the triple Mando hole 15. This triple Mando is what, 300 feet, 280
Yeah.
off of the tee pad?
Mhm.
It's far. You do want to make the Mando, of course, but you also really want to push far and straight if you're trying to birdie this hole. There's this gap that the drone's flying through that it is, you can get to the green this way, but I prefer to go just a little bit deeper and set yourself up for a sidearm into this green because the basket is tucked inside the trees and you want just like a little bit of ground play on the way in.
They moved the drop zone a little bit to the left.
I was
Did you see that?
wondering.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
way harder to save your par now
It looks very hard.
if you miss the mandatory.
This triple Mando is so intimidating, even if you're feeling yourself.
Yeah, I like what Kaidi did and kind of just kept it low, made sure she got it in. Kristen playing more aggressive, gets through in the air, a beautiful shot.
And look what oh, this is Kaidi's shot. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to navigate through this second line of trees. She chooses to try a little turnover straight shot.
Pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Fading towards the more open side.
Kristen has a light pole. Right in the way. She's forced to do a little straddle out. She makes the best of it. That tree's not a bad one to hit. I believe she's still inside the circle.
Wide straddle. Wow.
Wow. What a putt.
Uh-huh. Kristen going to move back to 4 down. And a great birdie for Kaidi as well, who's 2 down in the top 10.
Another check-in with Evelina Salonen, our current leader.
Oh, going huge.
Yeah, wrapping this corner. Wow.
And then some. Wow, that's an angle I've never seen over there.
She made it all the way to the path.
Uh-huh.
Unreal.
Yeah. Oh, man. Very nice. With the way she's putting. Count it.
She's
7 down.
She's making it look a little too easy out there right now.
Yeah, it's kind of upsetting. It's not. It's really cool.
Yeah, we love her in the booth. Speaking of love, Rebecca Cox.
Yeah. A lot of love. Go watch the practice round if you haven't from MVP. And that's a really fantastic drive. Rebecca throwing her Project Gripped Grace.
New one.
Yeah, I don't recognize that.
All the way into the second line of trees, really making that second shot a lot more simple.
Ooh, nice shot from Own, getting to that gap.
Yep, inside line.
Anniken,
Tough hole.
tough hole. Probably just looking to push straight.
She
Catches-
hits the Mando.
Yeah, hasn't missed it, I think. Really tough lefty hole.
Her face is like, oh God,
Oh.
what am I going to have to do
Oh
here?
boy, yeah, with her
Oh.
left hand. Why, she can't even straddle out. What do you do? What the heck?
Wow. What
Holyn-
a shot from Holyn.
Yeah, getting to where Evelina just was, nearly to the path. Okay. Anniken able to kind of step out and work a very awkward, very well done lefty hyzer.
Holland's second shot, she's got a little
Also-
light pull in her way.
Yeah. Didn't realize they were such a problem.
And she force turns are just a little too much trying to get over that light pull. Comes in low and doesn't get the ground play you want. Anniken trying to recover her par here. That's great.
Yeah.
This is such a guarded green in so many different spots. I think the best place to land is deep and left. But
Or
you're-
maybe just slightly short and left as well.
Yeah, you are always thinking, okay, what tree am I going to have to navigate around on
Yeah.
this screen if you're short?
You almost never get a clean look at it.
Sometimes even like bullseye putts. Like, how do I do this?
Own, I think, gonna have a pretty clean look as far as it goes. Here's Holyn, long look for birdie here.
A similar look to what we just saw Kristen dealing with. Holland with the tree on the left and missing left. Classic.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this, this is crazy.
Ooh, that was pretty.
That one tree just 45. Anniken has the
Oh,
same tree in her
man.
way. Such a good run.
She's laughing a little like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
What do you
I
do
mean,
here?
Really good effort from Anniken to try to save that par. Own with the birdie.
Own one of 13 birdies today. A quarter of the field got it. But it still played as one of the more difficult holes, averaging at almost a half stroke over par.
Yeah, I would be amazed if there were very many par saved from a missed mandatory from that new drop zone. They only moved it, I want to say, less than 10 feet, but the gap is half the size. Hopefully we don't have to see it this weekend. Own with the only birdie on our card. Anniken the only bogey. Evelina 7 down. Oh, wow. Hole 16, a birdieable par 3 at 342 feet, but it's tricky. There is an OB line on the right, OB line on the left that kind of tucks in nice and close where there's shorter basket here. I like kind of a hyzer flip to turnover sort of a shot, but there's a lot of different strategies to get here. This is one you're kind of thinking about 17 looming. You're kind of thinking about how much do I want to push this birdie, because this one, as reachable as it is, can turn into a bogey very quickly if you're a little bit off.
Yeah, because it's all out of bounds instead of hazard, you find yourself in a lot of positions taking an OB stroke and still having a really far putt.
Yeah, I think that was probably a good tree hit, it looked like, from Own. Her head was a little in the way. It was heading towards OB. This is a pretty common strategy just to keep it low and make sure you're in bounds.
The wind on this hole was wild, and not in a way that it was really, really fierce. It was just swirling all around. It was one of the places where your hair's blowing one way, the flags are blowing another way, the flag on the basket's blowing a different way. You couldn't really predict what was going to happen. I saw a lot of people throwing flippy discs that hyzered out and overstable discs that flipped. It was a really puzzling tee shot today.
Holyn, one of the few with the pure hyzer forehand power to park it. She went ESP force. Anniken with a great hyzer of her own swirly S-blend Emperor, but she does catch a tree and she'll have a bit more of a putt left than Holyn does. Rebecca with the forehand. That looks nice. Own for birdie. Nice. Very pure putt. Anniken with a really nice putt. She really deserved an easier birdie than that, but she is good for it to move back to even par.
Yeah, really touchy putt with that tree in the way. Holyn finally getting some green on her scorecard as well.
And that's a good feeling leading into 17 where dreams go to die.
Only 6 birdies on hole 16. Another hole that seems like it should be easy.
Looks like Evelina got a bogey on that one. She's back to 6 down.
And here it is. This hole. I'm surprised it doesn't have a nickname.
Yeah.
It should have like a...
Let's call it the dream killer.
Yeah, the day ruiner. Especially in this position. There's 2 pin positions. This is the worst one. It is got OB just outside the bullseye on 60% of it. Here, I think the strategy is just to land it in bounds. You don't need to get close and try to get a birdie because everyone is going to be taking big strokes, especially with the wind today. It was left to right, and it was blowing very, very hard. Maybe sometimes a headwind as well, switching around just a bit.
You can see how stoked Own is just to land in bounds. Hyzer forehand is the play if you have it as the right-handed player. There's a couple of branches that kind of feel like they're in the way. Holyn also going to be in bounds. Yeah, this pin placement's so mean. And that's the branch I was talking about. It can take off some speed, and it does for Anniken. She's going to have to progress to the first drop zone, which is so mean. Rebecca choosing to go forehand. Love this from her.
That looks great.
Yeah. So cool to see her trusting her forehand more and more as the year goes on. Fantastic. Look at her acting like it's not a big deal. She definitely used to throw backhand here.
And here's where golf comes into play. You want to put this close to try to save your bogey, but it's too risky to try to do that. Anniken coming in, landing in circle 2. This putt was really difficult today with the direction of the wind, so we'll probably see Anniken just lay this one up. That's very smart.
It is very easy to take a triple bogey on this hole.
This played as the most difficult hole of the day. Again, only 4 birdies, 37% of the field with a double bogey or worse. Did you hear that?
I'm choosing to not react.
Half the field bogeying it.
I think my feelings about this hole are clear. Rebecca with the best look at it for a birdie. So difficult to make your body run this one with the water right there and the hay bales, 6 feet away, it feels like?
It's so easy to ramp off the cage and go out of bounds. And
I guess they're 10 feet.
You can see, there you can see the bullseye right there. It's almost in the water, almost to the hay bales. Shelly May, Lai, Sarah Hokum, Kat Murch, and Stephanie Vincent getting the 2s.
That's
shout out.
Such a good feeling.
Shelly May and Sarah Hokum parking the hole.
Awesome.
Unreal.
Rebecca Cox and Owen Scoggins, both 4 down, holding down a tie for second. Evelina leading the way, Kristen and Chantel Budinsky potentially vying for that last lead card spot. Hole 18 is a par 5 at 647 feet, very birdieable. You got to carry the OB though. You see a lot of forehands or backhand turnovers. Sets up well for the lefty backhand. Second shot, you want to get up the hill. You can kind of just pitch one up and not bite off a ton of distance and just play more for placement. It's only 647 feet, so you never really have to throw far. We've seen eagles here. We saw one from Ellie Middling last year. It was one of her kind of big, hey, look at me, I'm here moments. It was very, very cool. I'm trying to think if we've seen others. None pop.
Yeah, there's not many.
Yeah. It's possible, though, if you want to get hyper aggressive. Kristen Tatar just throwing a nice, calm forehand on the first. She's just playing this for birdie, as most of us do. It's nice to have that ginkgo tree there. It's a perfect aiming point. Kaidi getting aggressive on the second shot. That's a really nice placement.
Yeah, I like the play. It's just almost not worth it because I guess it does make your approach significantly easier.
Yeah, versus this blind approach from Kristen.
Yeah, it's just rare that you find yourself getting a putt. But yeah, look how nice and simple this approach is.
She actually leaves it a little bit short, but she's good for it. Moving to 3 down.
And this green definitely has eroded from years past. It is so steep. 2 great birdies.
Evelina currently 6 down, going big forehand. Huge forehand.
Gigantic forehand.
Yeah, thank you.
But choosing to take some off here on the second.
Yeah, that looks like just a stable approach disc. And this is a tricky blind shot. You kind of want to push the back corner and get the ground play a little bit more than you think every time. I'm surprised that the left side comes up as fast as it does. Evelina 7 down.
What a round in these conditions. Evelina outperforming the rest of the field significantly.
Own up first, choosing to go backhand, always surprising us when it's such a good forehand shot.
And
The backhand's risky.
Yeah, and she's barely eking over that out of bounds line.
Holyn also going backhand.
Very surprising.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going huge though.
And a nice straight shot. It also looks like she's going. Let's see what she threw there. Oh yeah, Z-Buzz SS. Okay, so just straight mid-range. Rebecca, lucid evader. She's no stranger to this shot. Leaves it a little bit short, but that's still fine for birdie.
This hole used to just wreck people. Today it's in the middle of the pack on difficulty with almost 30% of the field getting the birdie.
Nice.
Yeah, everyone figuring this one out. It really does feel easy today as well, though, because it was a tail / left to right crosswind. So
The best possible wind.
Yeah, kind of helping your disc for once after a million headwind holes.
Own going right towards that tree trunk. Perfect aiming point. It actually is really close to the OB line. Sometimes it surprises me. Rebecca working the forehand. That looks great. Anniken just going standstill. Uh-oh. Man, that looked like it was going to fade the whole time, and it just kept pushing straight. That's a tough place to be OB, too, because she's going to have to try to wrap the corner, probably with a forehand.
Holyn going for it.
Oh, yeah, she is. Might as well try to get an eagle to finish it. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
A good break.
Slides down the rock inbounds. Here's a great angle showing us what this approach is like. Own late releases it. She's going to be higher up on the hill than she wants, but not out of bounds. Those 2 trees right there are out of bounds, so
Yeah.
very close.
Rebecca's third. Gonna need a lot of ground play to get it close.
Really
Well
well
done.
done. Yeah. It's still a scary putt.
Oh, yeah. Is it never not?
Yes,
Is that grammar?
it always is.
Yeah, thank you. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Anniken finding OB again. And after a clean round, just having a rough finish here. Anniken just going to lay that one up.
The wind really whipping on the screen. Headwind. This is a scary putt to run. It looks like Holyn is just going to lay this one up.
Holyn doing a good job not to get too far over par. She's got 3 more rounds. She's going to be in striking distance. Oh, no. Almost falls into the circle.
She did like the cartoon windmill arms.
Yeah. What a putt to finish things, to go to 5 down. Rebecca to match.
Yes.
Nice. Fantastic birdie. And it's cool to see 2 of our feature card ladies make it into the lead card tomorrow.
Yeah, we picked them right.
And Anniken just finishing with a bogey and a double bogey on the previous, going to end up 3 over. Played most of the round really, really well. Holyn with just a couple of kind of bigger numbers largely. Still had a lot of birdies and a pretty clean finish at the end.
Only 7 players shooting under par today in these tough conditions.
Wow.
Everyone, of course, on our lead card shooting under par, and really showing off. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so impressive to not be just barely under par, but 7 strokes, Evelina, come on.
Come on.
Yep, even par is good enough to get you in the top 10, or sorry, 1 over is good enough to get you in the top 10. And from this point on, it gets a little messy.
Yeah, from this point on, yes.
yeah.
Evelina gonna lead the way. Kristen Tatar joining us. It's gonna get interesting.
Yeah, we're supposed to have calmer conditions tomorrow, thankfully, but we are forecasted sunshine throughout the weekend. Again, there is a cut after round 3, so everyone really doing their best to work hard in these first 3 rounds. Thanks for hanging out with us during round 1 of this event. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the 2 hot geese.
Honk.
Honk.